So it's November 9th, 2022, and I'm going to say this is a Darcy's Corner, but I'm likely to get upset a little bit and rant. I don't know if this will have ASMR quality to it or not. Sometimes I'll watch my videos back again, and I go, one, I'm a little depressing, who wants to listen to that? But two, when I get somewhat depressed or whatever, I find that my voice gets softer and quieter, and it definitely has an ASMR quality to it. So if you happen to listen to my stuff and it puts you to sleep, well, glad I was able to help you out with that. And if you find it boring, well, I don't blame you. Move on. Oh, I have 21 subscribers now. Woohoo! So I don't know who those other three people are, but God bless. Um, but I probably know who they are. Very good chance they're friends or family or somebody who actually knows me, but maybe not. I have one random person from Ontario who likes to comment on my podcast or my stuff, and I don't know you personally, but bless you, and thank you for caring. I know that there's a lot more going on in the world than what goes on in mine. Anyway, I've been homesick for the second day in a row now. I could go to work. I'm physically capable of working, but most of the time my job involves running into one building and out into a bay where I have to load a truck, and that bay is whatever the temperature is outside is the same temperature it is in that bay. So if it's minus 24 outside, it's minus 24 in that bay. And so I'm pretty sure if I go back to work today, if I had gone back today, I'd just be making myself a lot sicker. I'm going to go back tomorrow, though, because I can't take 2 days off. That's too much money. I lose $150 a day by staying home. So I can't really afford to do that too much. Anyway, I've been contemplating a lot my family and my friends, and it isn't that I don't love my family, and it isn't that my parents didn't do a fairly decent job of looking after me as a child and adolescent. They did. They taught me good lessons about what it means to be moral and treat people with kindness. But some lessons they taught weren't so good. And some of the things that happened weren't so good. Not they didn't beat me or abuse me in that way. I did get spankings once in a while, but my life was not in constant fear of being smacked or hit or anything. But there were definitely some areas where they dropped the ball, in particular in regards to the LGBTQ world. Now, in their defense, it was the 80s, it was the 90s, and it was thought that if you were part of the gay community, that was immoral. There was something wrong with that. It was thought that if you were a man wearing a dress, you were obviously a pervert who raped women and hurt children. That was common thinking at that time. It was wrong, but it was a very commonly held belief by a lot of people. And so they were not supportive of anybody being gay or using the word gay. Now, what I've learned from hypnotherapy and other therapy sessions is what you're supposed to do for a person who has past issues of things like that is you put a person under hypnosis and you mentally regress them to their childhood, and then you become the parent in that moment in the hypnosis, and you say to child you, who is 5 or 6 or 8 or however old they are, all the things that you wish mom and dad had said. And some of these things my mom and dad did say, but they didn't really mean. What things, you ask? We love you for exactly who you are. Because I always had to hide who I was, because I didn't think they'd understand. And when I revealed as an adult who I was, what I am, they don't understand now. Oh, but they would have understood when I was 10? They would have understood when I was 8? No, they wouldn't. No, they didn't. Um, Now, I have used the regression and hypnosis, and I need to do it more than once, um, especially now that I have more experience in what it means to be me and how to engineer that process of taking myself back and, giving myself a hug and telling myself, look at where you are now. This is where you were when you were 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, and this is where you are now. And look at what a wonderful woman you've turned out to be. And I might start coughing or hacking, or I can feel the tickle in my throat right now. And while I do love me today, and I love the me that I was then, I'm not the woman that I want to be. And my life is not something that I'm really proud of at the moment. Like, I'm not okay. I don't look right. I don't sound right. And some days I get very disheartened that I might never get there. Now, I would never go back to being the man that I was. No, I can never go back to that. I will just be the best version of me that I can be, but I'm really currently disappointed in my results. So, to do that age regression thing and to bring me back to my current self is kind of not the real pick me up I'd like it to be. But part of what you're supposed to do when you do that, or another version of it, is that you just go back and you be the parent. And you're supposed to say to yourself, as your mom or your dad, all the things you wished mom and dad had said and meant. And I haven't really done that as the mom and the dad portion of the regression thing. Because, well, frankly, my mom and my dad are still alive. They could still say those things to me, but they never will. And I shouldn't be resentful about that, but I am a little bit. Like, I can forgive that they didn't know what it meant to be trans or what it meant to be gay, or they didn't understand any of the Rainbow Alliance stuff from the 80s and the 90s, because there wasn't a Rainbow Alliance in the 80s and 90s, for one. So I can forgive all that. But if when I talk to either one of them about it, they'll say stupid things like that never happened and I'm making it up. No, that I don't forgive. Maybe you don't remember saying, doing things you said and did, but I do. Because you did them. You said them. They were hurtful. They held me back. They caused me to stay in a closet my whole life. Your actions, your words did that to me. And I've never once heard you say you're sorry for that. So, yeah, I'm resentful of that. Not that you did those things, but that you deny doing those things. And then you put it on me that I somehow made up my childhood? No. I lived it. It was homophobic. It was transphobic. At times, parts of it were racist. And those were things I was taught in my home. And they're hurting me today. And why do I put this stuff on YouTube? Where else am I going to put it? I got nowhere else to go. Okay? And I know I should just get over it. Does it look like I'm over it? If you saw this in the mirror and you knew that a big part of it was because you started this in your 40s instead of starting this when you were 14 or 10. And you come out with that personal responsibility baloney. I'm supposed to be personally responsible for being 10 years old and being afraid to tell you? I don't think so. 10-year-olds, of course, they're going to be afraid if they don't think it's safe to tell somebody. And if I had told somebody, nothing good would have come of that. Anyway, I don't mean to dwell on the negative too much, because there is a lot of positive in my life today. But that part still wears on me a lot. I imagine a lot of my fellow trans siblings feel the same way. Things that were said or done to them as children that prevented them from being themselves. It's hard to just let that go. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't put a whammy on myself where I allow myself to forgive my parents by becoming the voice of my parents and saying the things I wish they'd said. And I haven't done that because they're alive. And if they wanted to, they could say those things now. But they won't. And it just makes me sad. Anyway, Darci's Corner. Sorry this is a long one. Peace.